All right, everyone, just want to do a quick video on one of our fire losses that we're working on. Obviously, when we start to work on a fire loss, either we're going to have to rebuild that entire structure or we're going to choose to rehab the structure, build it up. This house was damaged by fire that started from a breaker box in the garage about 4 months ago. We have been working through the various permits and processes that it takes to do that. Now we've put a 2-breaker panel in here. We're going to put some electric outlets for vehicles, for their Tesla or two. If you notice, all of this framing here is completely redone. We had to reframe about, I would say, a third of this house from bottom up. Thankfully, for them at least, the garage doors had to be reframed, so we pulled those up from 7 feet to 8 feet and a few inches so they can get their larger vehicles in. Okay, now we're going to go into the house. Here in the house, I liken it to deconstructing and reconstructing a Lego set. So you have to pull it apart, then you have to clean it to where it'll pass the most stringent of standards, and then you have to put it back together again. You think building is hard, try doing all three. This house is to the stage where we are 3 days prior to clearance. Restoring and cleaning takes a majority of the time. Because this is a fire loss, anything that's damaged by smoke or the water that the fire department sprays in here is what we call category 3 and has to be completely removed and tested prior to rebuilding. Last thing we want are contaminants to remain in this house. Fire damage is very dangerous, both because of the fire and because of the water. Fire is also carcinogenic and acidic, so anything that smoke touched can oxidize or cause corrosion and can lead to premature failure on the various electrical or metal components of the house. And so if you look in this house, we've already replaced all of the electrical and the plumbing to rough-in stage. That's getting plumbing to where you have your valves and all your connectors, but you're not necessarily attaching your appliances. We had some framing in here, and we've set up several areas of containment so that we can have our environmental specialists or consultants certify that this house is clean. This is Texas. It's very hot here. We have several units. This is one of our commercial units that cools this space while we're working on it. The guys are hard at work to get this done before the weekend so that we can get clearance. They've already done some antimicrobial and now they're wiping it down. This house has already been wiped down once, but prior to clearance, we wiped down every single one of these studs. The test they use is called an ATP test. You take a swab, put it in a solution, and swab the stud. And if that has more than a certain variable of contaminants on it, it fails the test and we have to re-clean that entire area. The way that works is they'll do all their cleaning, then we'll set up the house and set up all of our air scrubbers. This is a larger air scrubber for larger spaces. We'll set up, the house is already dry. We'll set up everything and those will be running for about 24 to 48 hours before clearance. And then everything is clean. If we pass, great. If not, we have to clean it again. Once that passes, we encapsulate the areas to make sure there's an extra layer of protection from that smoke and soot damage. As you can tell, this is very clean. We have put on an entirely new roofing system. All of the windows are new. They still have stickers on them. We've got to pass the permit process, and you're cleaning and decontaminating the surfaces in this house. This is about a 4,000 square foot house. It is massive. Let me give you an idea as to what the scope of this looks like. You can see how we've got all the rough-in for the wires throughout this entire house. The homeowners have been able to make a few changes. Sorry, there's a zipper right here. There's a lot of opportunity to change the colors and finishes of this home. Having contractors that are specialists in not only doing the work, but understand how that process with insurance works is very helpful. If you look up here, what we've been in is just a small component of this house. We are excited to finally be to the stage where we can put up drywall. We've got all the rough-ins done. We'll put in HVAC, and then we'll be able to finish out. The homeowners have already designed their cabinetry. They've chosen their flooring. Once we pass inspection for the electrical and plumbing and get clearance from the indoor environmental engineer, this project is going to move fairly quickly. But it is a long haul to get here from a house that is completely blackened by smoke, has holes all over, has to be reframed. We've restored the building envelope, installed all of the major systems, and we're about ready to clean it and rebuild the finishes. We're happy to be able to work with y'all and walk you through this process. If you have any questions, let us know. G3 knows, now you know.